Bam. My peoples. My peoples. Welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast, where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. Y'all know what we doing, my peoples. We talking boxing. I'm Jay Smith. Let me kick this thing off like I always do by reminding you, if you breathing, if you up this morning, God gave you another day. Thank you, God, for giving us another one to enjoy life, to enjoy our family, to enjoy the sweet science, my peoples. Let me give a shout out to those already in the building. Side, what's the deal? My brother Toy Mafia in the building. The real King George, the letter M, Queen, Track. What's the deal, my peoples? Salute to everybody. Early in the morning, the assassin is in the building too. Man, y'all ready for this sweet science? Nice and early in the morning, the way we like it out here. The way we enjoy it. My peoples, we're going to kick today's show off with the whole situation. Ryan Garcia, Shakur Stevenson. First, we thought this fight was going to happen. Ryan offered Shakur to fight him at a catchweight of 144. But it looks like he took that off the table. Glitching. Hold on. Let me know, my peoples. We should be back in action and not glitching this time around. No glitch. Let me know. How's that audio, my peoples? The assassin already thumbs up. Stream early. Let's talk boxing. You know it. That's what we about. My peoples. Ryan Garcia versus Shakur Stevenson. I thought we was going to get that fight. Especially. Here we go. So, I feel like we was going to get Ryan Garcia versus Shakur Stevenson, especially when Rollies and Devin, you could see that they was already going back and forth on social media, talking about signing the contract and all that stuff. So, I was like, whoa, since Devin and Ryan are not going for that rematch next, because Devin is going to be occupied with Rollies, I said, yo, that means we're going to get Shakur Stevenson versus Ryan Garcia. And you guys remember, Ryan had told Shakur, he had posted on social media, we could do it at a catch weight of 144. In fact, I want to go down and take it from you, take your belt at 140. So I was like, oh, shit. So it's looking like we're going to get this fight because we'll either get it at 140 because Ryan's saying that he's willing to go down there, or he's already offered a catch weight of 144. It looks like the catch weight is off the table. Ryan, I guess, wants it at 147. So Shakur's like, well, if you want it at 147, we're going to need a rehydration clause. We're going to need a rehydration clause. And I'm going to tell you what I think about this. I think that there should be a rehydration clause if Shakur goes up to the welterweight division. Now, hear me out. Just hear me out, and you guys tell me if this makes sense. I had a lot of people tell me, no, well, you was complaining when Tank got a rehydration clause. You was complaining when Tank got a rehydration clause. So I'm going to tell you why I agree with some cases and I don't agree with some. When Tank got a rehydration clause with Ryan Garcia, they was both at the 135 division. So I don't agree. If me and you fight at the same weight class, I don't agree with a rehydration clause. But if I'm moving up multiple divisions to find you, yes, I agree with it because you're already naturally bigger than I am. People wasn't complaining when Chris Eubank Jr. was on a rehydration clause versus Conor Ben. In fact, he won the first fight. And people even expected him to knock Conor Ben out in the second one. Which, by the way, I predicted Conor Ben was going to win that rematch. But Chris Eubank Jr. was on a rehydration clause. And it made all the sense in the world because he's fighting the naturally smaller guy. Why would you go up 2 divisions and have your opponent outweigh you by 15, 20 pounds on fight night? That doesn't make no sense. Now, I'm going to address the Terrence Crawford one because somebody told me yesterday, well, Terrence Crawford moved up 2 divisions. He didn't put Canelo on a rehydration clause. Let me school you on the difference, my peoples. Let me school you on the difference. But I'm going to get the stats so you could get my point. Watch this. Watch this, my peoples. I'm going to show you the biggest difference why you can't compare Terrence Crawford to where Shakur Stevenson is at right now. Terrence Crawford fought Israel Madrimov on August 24. He fought Canelo Alvarez on September 25th the following year. So what I'm trying to explain to you is that Terrence Crawford spent a whole year making weight, adjusting his body to 168. See, grab, salute, family. Bam, aroma sound in the building. What's the deal, fam? So it's what I want you to understand. Terrence Crawford didn't fight at 154, and then his next fight, 3 months later, fight at 168. He took a whole year moving his body up. That's why I told people, come fight night, Canelo wasn't going to look a lot bigger than Crawford like people thought. He's not going to be a lot stronger like people thought. I knew this. Why? Because I saw Crawford, after the Madrimov fight, gradually going up in weight, gradually moving up. You saw him bulking up. You saw when he posted on Instagram. I remember when Canelo fought William School, I think it was the day before, Crawford posted a picture with him standing on a scale. Like 180 pounds, bro. 181, I think. So imagine that. Canelo's fighting at 168. And the night before, Terrence Crawford on a scale weighing 181, 182, I think, something like that. So he's been running, sparring, doing all his workouts in 180s. And then he had to cut down in weight to meet Canelo at 168. So his body was well adjusted. People just didn't want to understand that part. Some people say, nah, look, he moving up 3 divisions really because he only fought 1 at 154 and he gonna get knocked out. People didn't understand that Crawford spent a whole year moving up in weight slowly, getting bigger, getting stronger. You could see that he was bulking up. If you follow him on IG, you could see, oh, damn, he bulking up. That's not the same as telling Shakur, oh, move up to 147 and fight him straight up, no rehydration clause. Shakur's not going to be able to go all the way up to 170 pounds. You fuck around, show up at fight night 148, 149, barely gaining any weight because he had to bulk up to get to that. So that's the difference. Terrence Crawford spent the whole year getting his body ready. Shakur Stevenson's not going to stay inactive for a year to fight Ryan Garcia down the line. That would have been the next fight if they did it. So there's a big difference between Terrence Crawford having a whole year to bulk up to fight Canelo Alvarez versus Shakur fighting Ryan Garcia at 147 in his very next fight. Nah. You know, if that fight was to happen with no rehydration clause, Ryan Garcia is going to have a clear advantage. Clear size advantage, weight advantage, strength advantage. You outweigh your opponent by 20 pounds, man. Come on. Aroma sound. Yeah, it looks clear on my end, too. Quick. He had to talk to my family, but I'm here. Sorry. Salute, family. Bam. Danny on the ground. In the building. What's the deal, my brother? So I get that Ryan Garcia is like, nah, no rehydration clause, because he had a situation with Tank Davis. But ultimately, it's not in Shakur's best interest to fight him straight up. So are we going to get that fight next? It doesn't look like it. It don't look like we're going to get that fight next. What I think is going to happen, Shakur is going to go on about his business. Ryan Garcia is going to do the same. Eventually, Shakur could end up moving up. You know, he's already a champion at 140. Whether he's going to defend or move back down, that remains to be seen. Because if they don't fight each other, here's the magic question, right? If they don't fight each other, my peoples, who do you think Ryan Garcia is going to fight next? Sire, let's get Ryan versus Devin next. Well, remember, Devin got Rollies. Devin got to deal with Rollies next. So once Devin deal with Rollies, we could talk about Ryan. But in the meantime, Ryan himself posted recently that he's going to fight in July. He's going to be announcing a fight for July. So obviously he's not going to sit down and just wait for Devin. He's going to fight too. Side, let Shakur body grow into 147 naturally. And that's, I think that's how we'll end up getting this fight. Ryan doesn't want to get on a rehydration clause. Shakur's not going to go in there at a disadvantage. So we'll get it a few years down the line. Possibly, this fight can get away from us altogether. You know why? Because let's say Shakur ends up at 147 in 3 years. Ryan Garcia could also be at 154. So if this fight doesn't happen now, if they don't come to an agreement now, we might not get this fight at all. We might not get it. I'm telling you. Unlaced kick, salute family. Bam, Mr. Smith. Do you think there's any chance Rolly beats Devin? I mean, Rolly's has a chance. I believe that he does have a chance. But in my opinion, he has to hurt him. You see the way that he dropped Ryan Garcia, and then from there on, he dictated the pace of the fight, and Ryan was overly cautious? Something like that has to happen. Like, he has to drop Devin, really hurt him, to where Devin, loses focus and is not following his game plan. He got to make it his fight. If Devin is going to dictate the pace, if Devin is going to dictate the range with that jab, then it's going to be a long night for Rollies. I can tell you that right now. Aroma Sound. Ryan might fight Conor Benn. Ryan doesn't want the Rolly rematch right now. And Conor Benn could be an option. But here's the loop that this can be. So Conor Benn, and this is why I think that it could happen with Ryan Garcia. Remember, Conor Benn pulled that move on Eddie Hearn, right? So he got a one-fight deal with Zuffa, supposedly. If that's the case, I'm pretty sure Oscar De La Hoya wouldn't mind signing Conor Benn, Eddie Hearn's ex-fighter, to make that fight. Get a one-fight deal with Golden Boy, or a multi-fight deal, I don't know. Pasta track, I don't think it will be a problem for Ryan. I think he makes 147 fairly easy. He makes 147 fairly easy right now. But we might not see Shakur Stevenson at the welterweight division for like another 3 years. So will he be able to make it at that point? I don't know. Shaggy, my people, let's talk boxing. Salute my brother. Aroma Sound. Even if he hurts Devin, I think Devin will keep fighting. He kept fighting against Ryan. Ryan got scared against Rollies and was scared. Yes, but if Devin get hurt, then he can lose the fight. He lost it against Ryan, so you're right, he kept fighting, but he lost. He still got pummeled. So if Rollies hurt him, he could turn it into that type of fight. But can he? That's the thing. That's the thing. Can Ismael Salas get Rollies going like he did versus Ryan Garcia? Because you have to think about the version of Rollies that we saw versus Ryan. Yo, Rollies look real good, my peoples. Let's keep it 100, man. Rollies, the jab was on point, the combinations, the patience, the ring IQ, everything. Rollies was looking real good. Dare I say spectacular versus Ryan Garcia. Pasta track. Yeah, Ryan is only 26, so he'll be middleweight, super middleweight, within 3 years. I'm telling you, he's young. Are you sure he's 26? I thought he was already 27, 28. Side, they're going to keep Ryan as WBC champ for as long as possible. He fighting a light touch next. We're going to see. I've had some people tell me that. I have some people tell me, you know what? Nah, he's a world champion for the first time. They're going to try to let him hold on to that for a little bit. Maybe a couple of easy defenses. But let's see. Let's see how they do it. Pasta track. I think Rolly is going to walk through Devin. You see, that's the thing. Most people believe that Devin is going to do what he does, and some even think he's going to make it look easy. But I've seen you, Pasta Track, and a few others who show up to Boxing for Breakfast and say, nah, Rolly's going to pull off the upset. And it's going to be an upset because I'm pretty sure, I haven't seen stats or numbers on that, but I'm pretty sure Devin Haney's going to be the favorite to win this fight. The Assassin. Rolly's nowhere near Devin's skill level, though. Rolly only got that power. The safe bet is Debo Dev. Now listen, Rolly don't only got that power, man. If you saw him versus Ryan Garcia, the boxing skills, you see the improvement, bro. He working with that Cuban coach, Ismael Salas, and you see it. I'm telling you, Rolly's not just power. He got more than that. But, again, my peoples, that's the magic question. If Ryan Garcia is not going to fight Shakur Stevenson, who's next? Who is next for Ryan Garcia? They let him Rolly got to add that pressure and smush Haney mouthpiece. Pasta Track. 3-1 or 4-1. At most, I would think. Quick question. How long does Shakur Stevenson need to get to the weight with the rehydration clause? I mean, I don't know. It's hard for me to say. It's hard for me to say, but, you know, I guess with a rehydration clause, he'd be willing to make that fight next. So, no, I'm pretty sure he's probably pretty close to 147. It's not like he's far from there. They could make that fight for 3 months from now. If it was with a rehydration clause, they would be fighting next. But Ryan Garcia is not trying to hear it. Not trying to hear it. Now, listen to this, my people. Listen to this. Devin Haney says that Tank Davis is a great fighter, but he's an underachiever. Think about that. Underachiever, my peoples. Is Tank Davis an underachiever? Boxing Fanatical. Crazy how when Showbiz nickname fighters, everybody adopts it. He named Shakur Sugar. I mean, I haven't seen nobody call Shakur Sugar, bro. Nobody. I haven't seen it, bro. And when he beat Teofimo, I was like Sugar Shakur. A lot of people use that word sugar, but nobody's really adapted that. The Debo Dev has caught on. Honestly, I didn't even know that's where it came from. I thought it came from Bill. But, yo, Debo Dev, that's a good one. Cousin Jeff, I'm from Australia. But if Tim Tszyu fights Spence, will take 5 years of his life. So, whoa. Not on that level. That's a good fight, man. I like that fight. I gotta tell you. I hope it happens. Because it's not a done deal yet. Supposedly, Tim Tszyu's gonna fight somebody else first. Sorry, Haney's winning that one. Look, man. Devin Haney. You mean Devin Haney's beating Tank? Do you got Debo Dev beating Tank? Daniel Negron. I don't agree with that comment at all. Matter of fact, Tank will KO Devin. So, you don't agree with Tank being an underachiever? That's what Devin Haney said. I'm going to be honest, Daniel Negron. I agree. Pasta Track. Still up in the air for Tank. There ain't no such thing as Debo Dev. Side. Rolly has that refined caveman fighting style. Boxing Fanatical. They started calling him Sugar on commentary for his fights before Shakur himself started saying he doesn't like it. Now, honestly, I haven't seen that. I've never seen it. You know, I don't know who started calling him that, but I've never really seen that catching on. Now, I'm going to say this. Devin says that Tank is an underachiever. I'm going to have to agree with him. And you know why I agree with Devin? Because to this day, when we look at Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez, they have all accomplished more than Tank. All of them have been unified champions. All of them have been Ring Belt Magazine champions. All of them have been multi-division champions legitimately. All of them have fought multiple reigning champions. So I have to agree. And you know why I have to agree with Devin Haney? Because Tank is older than all of them. None of these guys is 30 years old yet. I think Tank is going to be 31 already. Devin is like 28. Shakur and Teo both 28. Ryan, I think he's 27. So they're all in their 20s. Tank is 30. And they fought more champions than Tank. 3 of them, not counting Ryan, beat more champions, more reigning champions than Tank. So I think he is an underachiever. They'll have a name in their resume. Like, look, Tank's biggest name in his resume right now is Ryan Garcia. The least accomplished out of those guys. Cousin Jet, Tank can box with Shakur if he wants, but he will KO Shakur. Tank is good. I mean, he don't believe you because he don't want to fight Shakur. You see, you're like, he'll KO Shakur and he'll do whatever he wants with Shakur. He'll do everything but fight Shakur, bro. So it's like, okay, you feel that way, but clearly him and his team don't feel that way. That's the problem. I wish that Tank would believe his fans. Boxing Fanatical, in 2018, when Tank said he doesn't need Lomachenko, I knew he wasn't trying to fight competition. I mean, I thought that they were going to age him out, which they try to age him out because then they try to fight Lomachenko when he had 1 foot out the door, and Loma didn't fall for that. But still, you know, at some point, you expect him to get in there with Shakur, get in there with Teo, get in there with Devin, like fight these guys. And those are the biggest fights. Those are the fights that, because people say, no, this guy is not making money like that. That guy's not making money like that. Those are the fights that will make the most money for Tank Davis' career. Nobody is going to bring in a bigger payday for Tank than those guys. The Assassin. I definitely think David Beast, Opataya. God damn. Tank, Benavidez, you mean. Quid, Tank can box with Shakur, but he must come back soon. It looks like they are working on it. It looks like they're working on it. And let me show you. Bam! This is what's being talked about right now. This is the topic of conversation. Supposedly, they working on a rematch with Pitbull Cruz. Do people want to see that? There's people that want to see it. I'm going to be honest, I don't want to see it. I don't have to see it. I know how that fight plays out. But it looks like Tank may come back this year to a rematch with Pitbull Cruz. A fight I don't want to see. But I'll take it. I'll take it. Pass the track. Tank has had a lot of pressure since Jump Street, the name, etc. I mean, but every top level, elite level fighter is gonna have the same pressure. The only thing is that some of them are all of them. All of the guys that was considered the 3 kings, the 4 kings of this era, which is Tank, Devin, Shakur, Teo, Ryan, all of them have already fought certain names. Tank only fought Ryan. That's it. Ryan got in there with Tank. He also got in there with Debo Dev. Shakur Stevenson now got in there with Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo then got in there with Shakur, got in there with Lomachenko. You see? So guys already put some names in their resume. Well, Tank's still out there fighting Pitbull. I don't even want to like, and I don't mean that literally, cause I'll watch. If they fight, I'll watch. If Tank fight, I'll watch. Look, I'm a Tank Davis fan. I might criticize opponent selection. I might criticize the cherry picking, but I'm a Tank Davis fan too. I like to watch his fights. But Tank versus Pitbull is not something that I don't think nobody's calling for. I know I see fans. I see some of my Mexican brothers that feel like Pitbull could win the rematch. He'll get cooked. Tank beat him with one hand. Tank beat his ass with one hand, my peoples. Two good hands, he's going to cook Pitbull. The real King George. Tank is the GOAT for his short stature. You don't mess with short people. I mean, I don't know what you mean by that, by short stature. That don't mean that he's going to be better or worse than anybody. He's fought at 140. That wide-ass frame is heavy as fuck. Boxing Fanatical. Is Tank Loki cherry-picking one of the least threatening fights? I mean, look, Pitbull could give him a fun fight. Pitbull got no chance. No chance whatsoever. That's why I told people, if Tank beat him with one hand, Tank hurt his hand bad like in the third round, and beat him with one hand, what you think is going to happen in the rematch? Pitbull got no chance to beat Tank Davis. Remember I told you that. That in the ground. You're right, Jay, because I don't see any different outcome when Tank and Pitbull fight. Like, and that's what I don't understand, man. The fans, they're guilty of this too, because, you know, if you tell a fighter, I support this fight, that's a good fight for him to make. You're supporting it. You support it. Fans, they want Shakur to fight the best. Look, they want Shakur to fight no rehydration clause. Fight him straight up. They want Crawford to come back and fight Benavidez, or come back and fight Bulls, or come back and fight the best. They want Canelo to fight Benavidez. They want all the best to fight the best. But then when it comes to Tank Davis, he could fight whoever he wants. He put butts in seats. He sells pay-per-views. That's it. You don't want Tank to fight the best. The letter M. Tank shook of losing that O. They protecting it, man. They protecting it. Queen, in my opinion, that might be true about Tank. Now, there are fighters that are outshining him with him not fighting, even with his championship run. I mean, I'm sorry to ask the question, but what championship run? What championship run? Tank never fought a reigning champion at 135. In his own weight class, he never fought a reigning champion. He beat Yuriorkis Gamboa, that was like 70 years old at the time already. And that was for a vacant secondary title. And then that Mickey Mouse belt, he got elevated. He got an email main title. That's what he got, the email main title. He became the main champion at 135 without ever fighting a champion. Now, I'm going to remind you, at one point, Devin Haney was a champion in that division, together with Tank Davis. Teofimo was a champion in that division, together with Tank Davis. Shakur Stevenson was a champion in that division, together with Tank Davis. He ended up grabbing a title without even fighting a champion. Help me understand that shit. Help me understand it. Then, think about it. He got a secondary title at 135. And when he went to 140, it was for a secondary title versus Mario Barrios. Because at the time, Josh Taylor was the undisputed champion. Was it Josh Taylor or Liam Paro? I think it was Josh Taylor. I confused those two, man. Josh Taylor and Liam Paro. One of them two was the undisputed. No, it was Liam Paro, right? That was the undisputed champion at 140. Now, who was it at Teofimo beat? Did Teofimo beat Paro? Those two guys, man, I get confused with them. But again, Josh Taylor, there you have it. Josh Taylor was the undisputed champion at 140. And Tank Davis fought Mario Barrios, who had a secondary belt. So he got a secondary belt at 135 and a secondary belt at 140. His only main title was at 130. Let that sizzle in your spirit. So yeah, Tank Davis is an underachiever. The Assassin, Debo Davis skilled. He proved me wrong versus Norman. It's going to be hard to beat that runner. I think only Shakur got that break. New Jersey. I mean, he not that runner, bro, because he wasn't running versus Brian Norman Jr. There was no running with Brian Norman Jr. He put hands on him. Which is why people was like, okay, Debo Def, yes, sir. Quick. Two different people. It looks like Tank is losing a lot of time to do more in his career. Bigger win is Ryan. Back in then, now Ryan is champion. Back then, now Ryan is champion. Crawford retired on top. Everyone has bigger names now. Of course. Everyone's name and profile is going up while Tank is right. And look who he's fighting next. He's fighting Pitbull, a rematch with Pitbull. Possibly a rematch with Pitbull. Should have been a rematch with Lamont Roach. That should have been the rematch. Side, he'll have to fight Goku next. Pasta track. Yeah, he knocked the cab driver down on the first round. Tom Seaver. Tan has great marketing. He still gets brought up all the time without doing much. No, listen. Tank is still one of the biggest stars in boxing. You know, that's something that there's no getting around it. When he announced he's going to fight, everybody's going to be all over it. You're going to see all boxing media outlets talking about Tank is going to fight next. He's going to fight again. This is going to be his opponent. We're all going to be talking about it because of his star power. But everybody else is also bigger. Everybody else, you know, Shakur is a lot bigger than what he was when Tank was active. Devin is a lot bigger. Ryan is a lot bigger. And they're all world champions. Think about that. The only one who's not a world champion right now is Tank Davis. Devin, world champion. Ryan, world champion. Shakur, world champion. Rolly's world champion. Teofimo only not a world champion because he got beat by Shakur. All these guys accomplished. Boxing Fanatical, he gets brought up for going to jail, not for not doing much. Well, I tell you what, man, I believe that there's a possibility that he won't go to jail. And I said it before, if he does go, it's going to be for a short time frame. But if they're already looking at making a fight, potentially a rematch with Pitbull, I think that he's going to be good. Make the fight. I like it. I mean, look, it's not the fight that I want. I would never call for that fight. You're never going to catch me saying, yo, man, Tank should fight Pitbull. But I like the idea of Tank Davis coming back. I like the idea of him fighting. So if he chooses Pitbull, I'm tuning in like everybody else. And I'm enjoying it. It's a good fight. It's just that, honestly, man, it's not the fight that I would prefer. Tank Davis, come back and fight Teofimo Lopez. Come back and fight one of the guys that people been asking you to fight. Fight Shakur. Finally. Step in there with Shakur Stevenson. I know you've been ducking that fight all these years. It's time to make it happen. Now Tank is gonna be in the 140 division. You guys remember that I told you yesterday, and I mentioned this before. You're not gonna see Tank Davis fighting at 135 ever again. That's it. He can't make that weight anymore. The Assassin, he never gonna be respected if he doesn't rematch Roach. Same with Nello if he don't fight Benavidez. Well, I think Benavidez is a fight that Canelo can now duck easier because they're not in the same weight class. So you can't force a fighter. You can't push a fighter to move up and weight to make you happy and fight who you want him to fight. That's why I don't think we'll ever see that fight again. Benavidez will never go back down to 168. He was struggling to make that weight, and he was clinging on to that division just to try to get that Canelo fight. He'll never go back to 168. In fact, you see, look where he's fighting at. And he's going to move down to 175 to try to fight Bivol and Beterbiev to move right back up and go after Jai Opetaia. So Benavidez will never fight at 168. That'll give room to Canelo to say, yo, well, we're not in the same division. We ain't fighting. But Tank Davis is different because Tank Davis and Lamar Roach, they're going to be in and around the same division. Look, Tank Davis going to 140. Lamar Roach fought Pitbull at 140. So they're going to be at 140. Are we going to get a rematch with Pitbull and then a rematch with Lamar Roach? Maybe. Well, I don't know. Does Tank just avoid Lamar Roach altogether? So I agree, Assassin. He got to run it back with Roach. I mean, that's a fight that we were supposed to get. I'm going to remind you guys, the rematch was set up and everything for that fight. You don't remember they had the date and everything. We thought we was going to get this rematch in. Jake Paul jumped in. Before we know it, a fight versus Jake Paul was announced, and Lamar Roach was hung out to dry. And I said this before, my peoples. They did Lamar Roach dirty. They did him dirty, my peoples. In case you don't remember, a fight day was announced and everything for the rematch. It was announced, bro. And then Jake Paul jumped in, and that's it. No rematch. That was crazy. The way that it all played out, man, that should have been Lamar Roach's payday. Lamar Roach's next opportunity to be on the big stage again. And I got taken from him, man. I felt bad. Especially since he won that first fight, my peoples. Let's be honest. Lamar Roach beat Tank Davis. The Assassin. If Roach lose somehow, they will brush it under the rug before we know it. Roach never fights Tank again. I wouldn't be surprised even if he win. I wouldn't be surprised if he never fight Tank again. Even if he win. Even if he keep winning. Because you just have to consider the way that fight played out. Lamar Roach didn't survive 12 rounds against Tank Davis. He didn't go the distance, you know, by running around and Tank Davis chasing him and him clinching all over the place. You know, this thing wasn't a clinch fest. Lamar Roach beat Tank Davis by walking him down. Like, if you think about the way that fight played out, for the most part, Lamar Roach was walking Tank Davis down, my people. Walking him down, putting hands on him. Winning exchanges. Tank Davis would stand his ground, like to put hands on him. And at close range, Lamar Roach would make him miss and make him pay. Inside the phone booth. The only person, ironically enough, to fight Tank Davis the way Lamar Roach fought him is Pitbull Cruz. If you think about it, and now they fought each other too. But that's the only guy that I could think of that was in Tank Davis' face for 12 rounds. Pitbull Cruz. And then Lamar Roach. They the only two guys that did it like that. You got to give them that respect. It looks like Pitbull's gonna get a rematch? Is Lamar Roach gonna get a rematch? The assassin, Jay. You say Roach won. How many rounds you give Roach? I think it could have been either 7-5 or 8-4. 7-5 or 8-4. But, you know, if you say 7-5, there's still that 10-8 round. And in fact, the 10-8 round could have even been a 10-7 round with point deductions. It could have even been a disqualification for Tank Davis. Lamar Roach could have even won by DQ. Shaggy, that's the only rematch I want to see. Roach versus Davis. I like that rematch. The Pitbull Cruz rematch, honestly, I'm not a fan of it. Because I know how this fight plays out. I know what Tank is going to do to Pitbull Cruz. He beat him with one hand, my peoples. Tank Davis, and I was calling that first fight. I caught it when Tank Davis hit Pitbull. Bang, he was like, ah! And you could see he got hurt. And even after the fight, when they took off his gloves, you could see the hand mass swollen. Queep, as a Tank fan base, on what you said makes me rethink how good is Tank now. I mean, look, I got to tell you, Tank Davis is a great fighter, an elite level fighter, right? But he hasn't fought a lot of the best guys out there. So we don't know who he beats and who beats him. We gonna, you know, Tank Davis, Tankomaniacs will tell you he beat all of them. He'll beat all of them. But he ain't fight all of them. And I don't believe that he'll beat all of them. And I've said this before, because Tank Davis is a great fighter. Great fighters lose. If you look at the all-time greats, the majority of them lost, right? So I think Tank Davis is a great fighter, but if he fight everybody, I will say he retires with a record of like 42-2, you know, 45-3, 46-1 maybe. But if he decides I'm gonna fight everybody, he's gonna beat some names, but some are gonna beat him too. And he'll end up with a great resume anyway. But if he wants to guarantee that he retires undefeated, he won't fight any of them. And then he can retire with that O. But is that what we want to see? Do we want to see Tank Davis take the safe route? Pass the track. That's more respectable to me than the O. To me too. If Tank Davis retired with a record of 41-2, that's a great record. And he fought all of them. And let's say he only lose to Shakur and Devin, but then beat everybody else. That'll be a great resume. Or he only lose to Shakur and Tio, but beat everybody else. That'll be a great resume. But is he gonna risk it? Daniel Negron. Why is Lamar Roach not fighting Tank? Is it boxing politics? I mean, the first reason we didn't get that rematch is because of Jake Paul. I'm going to remind you that the rematch was set up. They had a rematch date and everything to fight each other. And it did not happen because Jake Paul stepped in that he was going to do his rematch. He was going to do, I mean, not his rematch, he was going to fight Tank Davis. An exhibition. If not, we would have got the rematch. Underground mechanics. Conor Benn would finish him. I mean, we're never going to see that fight. I don't think we'll ever see that fight because Tank, he's going to be at 140. And I expect him to probably stay at 140 for the rest of his career or most of it. You got to remember, he was at 135 for 5 years. So at 140, it's not going to be like he'll fight one time and move up. Tank might do the rest of his career at 140 and avoid fighting those bigger dudes. Quick, no one wants to see Tank not fight Don't mind him losing to the best if the world, he's still one of the best. Of course. Listen, when you lose to one of the best fighters in the game, that doesn't diminish you at all. You lost to one of the best. That doesn't diminish you. I know that we live in a social media age where as soon as you take an L, oh, he's a hype job. He's overrated, all of that stuff. But ultimately, we're looking at your whole resume, not one fight. And let me tell you something. It's only casual fans that rate a fighter based on one loss. It's only casual fans. People who actually know the sport look at the overall career, look at the wins, look at the highlights. How many highlights have you had in your career as opposed to you taking an L? So, but ultimately, we want to see Tank Davis out there against the best. And we haven't seen that. Most of us in and around his weight class, we consider the best Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney. Those are the best. And then, of course, you got to throw Teofimo Lopez in there. He's one of the best, too. You got to throw Boots in there if Tank want to go to 140. Well, Tank will never see Boots, right? Because Boots now at 154. So the idea of Tank Davis versus Boots, you can abandon that. And Tank Davis will never do the good old jump up 2 divisions and fight a world champion. He ain't never going to do that. Forget that. My peoples. The Tank Davis segment by saying Pitbull Cruz is not my favorite fight for him, personally. But if he does fight Pitbull, just like you guys and just like everybody else who love the sweet science, I'm going to be tuning in. I'm going to watch the fight. It's not what I want, but I know that it'll be an entertaining fight to watch. Cheryl Hayes, you're right. Believe it or not, I was just downstairs saying to myself, if Tank doesn't fight Shakur Stevenson or Devin Haney, to me, it only means he's ducking. Great topic, bro. Salute, family. And look, those are the names that we've wanted to see with Tank Davis since they were so at 135. And that's why it feels like a duck. Like, if you think about it, both of these guys were at 135 with Tank Davis. Tank Davis had a 135-pound title without ever facing a single champion in the division. He still ain't faced a single reigning champion at 135. He hasn't done it. And without ever facing a reigning champion at 135, now he's going on to 140. He could fight Shakur Stevenson at any given moment. Because here's the deal. Tank Davis is one of the few fighters in boxing who have the superstar level to pick his opponents. To say, I want to fight this guy, I want to fight that guy, I want to fight that guy. He could fight whoever he wants. So the only reason he hasn't been in the ring with Shakur or with Devin is because he don't want to. That's simple. Doesn't want to. Now, you have to take this into consideration. Devin Haney's now at 147. He's going to make his debut most likely at 140 in his next fight. So Devin is already a division above him. That fight is not going to happen. Morning, Ryan. I love you. So that fight is not going to happen. We're not going to get Tank Davis versus Devin Haney. You can forget about it. That's it. The divisions tell us they're not going to fight each other. So there's no need to even hope for that. But Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson, that fight can happen. Shakur's fighting just at 140. And it's talking about moving down to 135. But if Tank Davis come back at 140, obviously Shakur will be willing to fight him there. He already whooped Teofimo in that division. JJ Sendejas. Good morning, Ryan. Have a great day at school. Salute, family. Bam. Queen. But why a Haney or a Shakur fight will be great for fans? Money and for his record, of course. Look, those are the biggest names that Tank Davis could fight. Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson. But he don't want to fight him, my people. Don't want to fight him. That's just the reality. If he wanted to, he could have made those fights. Pasta track. They should press conference Tank offering $50 million and see what happens. I mean, why would he offer $50 million to people that he don't want to fight, bro? He don't want to fight. He don't want to fight Shakur. He don't want to fight Devin. I remember Teofimo Lopez was the first one to say it. When he was at 135, he had called out Tank, right? And then when he first moved to 140, he was like, I'm never calling him out again. He don't want to fight. I know he don't want to fight. Why am I waste my time? So Teofimo gave up on that fight with Tank Davis because he knew it wasn't happening. That's it. He gave up. And then Devin gave up. Devin was like, yeah, this nigga not going to fight. And then ultimately you see Shakur already say, yeah, I don't need Tank. I don't need him. That's it. They gave up on trying to convince him to fight. Quick, does he think he's going to lose that badly? I mean, I don't think it's that he's going to lose that badly. I don't think Tank Davis loses badly to anybody. I think it's more about him keeping that undefeated record. And Tank is a guy that got that ego, and it's like he wouldn't even know where to put his face if he was to take a L. Quick, I mean, the assassin. Shakur or Roach, that's it. Nothing else, nothing less. Look, man, Roach is a fighter who I don't think Tank Davis want a rematch because of the way the first fight played out. It's like I told you guys before, Lamar Roach didn't survive the distance. You know, a lot of us saw that fight. He had Tank Davis frustrated, which, by the way, I saw a replay where Tank Davis actually tried to bite him. He tried to bite him. He actually tried. He was really frustrated in that fight. And for that reason, I think he don't want to do that rematch. We may not see it, my people. I'm telling you right now. We may not see a rematch between Tank Davis and Lamar Roach. Fellas, let me move on to the next one, man. Did you guys see Keyshawn Davis sparring Dean the Great? Did you guys see this? I'm going to give a shout out to Keyshawn Davis. I like what he's doing. He's on this tour where he's sparring different people and broadcasting it live, I think on his Kick account. That's fire. Because we get to see a championship caliber fighter sparring. You know that in most cases, world champions, when they spar, they don't put the full video out like that. You might see a little clip here and there, but you don't get to see it. And if you're a hardcore fan, you don't just want to see the fights. You want the sparring sessions. I would love to be at all the sparring sessions. I would love to be at the sparring sessions. So Keyshawn Davis is giving us that. He's broadcasting sparring sessions live. He's sparring with different. But the first, he sparred with multiple people. And I'm going to highlight two of them. The first one, Dean the Great. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, my peoples. Keyshawn Davis put all type of hands on Dean the Great, bro. Golly. The letter M, J. Smith. Will you spar Keyshawn Davis? Hell no. I'm not trying to get beat up, bro. Hell no. The assassin, he's going to keep going. We're going to keep seeing different names. Stay tuned. So I like this from Keyshawn Davis. He's giving us kind of a behind the scenes and also showing us his skills in a sparring environment and a different environment outside of a professional fight. And I like it. It's fun to watch. But he put all type of hands, man. Look, man, there's no way around it. He beat the shit out of Dean the Great. Beat the shit out of Dean the Great, bro. Quave, Jay Smith versus Dean the Great. You see, I sparred Dean the Great. Not Keyshawn Davis. I'll get in there with Dean the Great. Not with Keyshawn Davis, my people. I won't do it. Hell no. But Keyshawn, look at his face, man. He's smiling like, yeah, you fooled. You fooled. Oh, my God. What a beatdown he gave Dean the Great, bro. Let him know what's really good. And then his latest sparring session that I saw was Keyshawn versus Blue. Whoa, the rapper. Now, I gotta say this, my people, and I want you to take that into consideration. Blueface, he been training in boxing and he know how to box. He not nice. He'll never. Well, he not nice for an elite level guy. You know, he's not an elite level guy. But don't get it twisted. He know how to box. You know, he's been practicing boxing. He's been training boxing with real boxing coaches and everything. And you see, you know, his stance. You seen him sparring with Floyd Mayweather. So, you know, Keyshawn did whatever he wanted to do in there. Put all type of hands on Blueface. But, Blueface was in there. You know, punching back, caught Keyshawn with a few good jabs. It's just that you in there with a world championship caliber fighter in Keyshawn Davis. But I gotta tell you, Blueface, he'll beat the average Joe's ass in a boxing, in a ring. Believe it. Blueface will beat the crap out of the average Joe in a boxing ring. He could box. He's just in there, you know, with a world champion. The assassin. Then the Great started wrestling. That's usually what goes on in these misfit fights. Pasta track. I gotta say, Blueface has talent. Queen. If you do slap Dean around, the assassin. Dean is a 5'4" goofball. Dean the goofball. Yeah, Dean a goofball, man. He out there getting slapped, punched up, elbowed up. Like, he out there just getting beat up. But you know what? I think Dean the Great is kind of like a Charlie Zenilov 2.0. Charlie Zenilov 2.0. Why? Because he's, I would say, more athletic than Charlie. But he's a goofball because he's trying to get in there with people who are clearly more skilled than him. And they're going to beat his ass. And then, I mean, did you guys see, it was the same day that he got slapped, then Buddy punched the shit out of him? Come on now. Pasta track. Charlie got no respect. I mean, Charlie, man, got his ass beat. He tried to play bully, and then he got in there with the... Like, how you going to get in there with Deontay Wilder? That's disrespectful. You're going to get in there with Deontay Wilder, and you see the type of fists that Wilder put on him. Boxer fanatical. Fatherhood is the best feeling in the world, bro. Respect. That's facts, bro. That's facts. I got a 4-year-old, man. Ain't nothing like it. Queeb. Dean trying to flirt with other people's wife in front of that big dude and got slapped for his troubles. Yo, Larry Wheels, this dude like 300 pounds, bro. I think at his biggest he been like 320. 300 pounds. And you trying to play with him. Like, and I promise you, that Dean the Great was doing all that for the cameras. He was doing all that. Like, yeah, his wife up for grabs. You know what I'm saying? Cuz, she looking at me, cuz. He doing all that for the cameras. But he knew, like, yo, this motherfucker right here is gonna beat the shit out of me. He knew. But in front of the cameras, he gotta act up and try to get that viral moment. And he got it. He got it. He slapped the shit out of him. Everybody talking about it. Pasta track. Kids are like good mood batteries. The best. My nephew wipes out his little dirt bike and wiped out in a puddle, come off screaming. That's priceless, though, man. Those are gonna be priceless memory for him. He's gonna be telling the stories about the wipeouts. So, my people, I'm gonna ask you the magic question. We don't know. We don't know that it is gonna be Pitbull Cruz, right? I'm just guessing, and that's a possibility that Pitbull's crew is gonna be next. But who would you like to see Tank Davis fight next? What opponent will you pick for him? If you was the matchmaker, who would you say, Tank, as your matchmaker, this one I'm getting for you? Bam! And make it happen. Who would you have fight Tank Davis? The Hydro Grind. Tank versus the justice system. Damn, you want the justice system fighting Tank, bro? Golly. Why the justice system? Hold on. Hold on. I want him to get a W against the system. Look, if I could pick any opponent for Tank, I say Shakur Stevenson. That's what I'm picking. Shakur Stevenson, my people. Why am I picking that opponent? Because it makes perfect sense to me. Yes, I want to see him fight the rematch with Lamont Roach. No, I don't really want to see him fight the rematch with Pitbull Cruz. I want to see him fight Shakur. Right now, Tank don't got an opponent. Shakur don't got an opponent. Fight each other. The Hydro Grind, I will give him a tune-up before Shakur. The Assassin, I already told you, Roach or Core, nothing else. Jay Smith. But I guess boxing politics win. Man, Tank don't need no tune-up. What he need a tune-up for? The letter M. Tank versus Shakur will be the tip-top matchup fight. Now, I'm telling you, Tank Davis versus Shakur Stevenson, that's the biggest fight in boxing. That is the biggest fight in boxing if they was to fight each other right away. Ronaldo, Tank don't want that smoke. It don't look like it. We want it, but he don't. The Assassin, Hydra. Now he need a tune-up. Isn't he the face of boxing? Ronaldo, Tank gave up too many rounds. Can't do that with Shakur. That's a fact. And you know what? That's part of the reason why I felt he lost versus Lamont Roach. Because he gave up early rounds. And when he started, making his own push, Lamont Roach pushed back. So they split those later rounds after he lost the early ones. Queeb, for real, it should be Shakur, but I have low hopes of that fight ever happening. If he really wants to keep his O, he needs to take himself seriously. No goofball moves with strippers. Can't be falling in love with strippers, bro. I told y'all yesterday. They'll have you blacking out. But that's what I got for y'all guys. I feel like Tank Davis versus Shakur Stevenson is the biggest fight in boxing. That's the fight that I would personally like to see. Pasta try. I like Tank. I really do. If Tank is that petty about a loss, he shouldn't be fighting. It means that you have to understand, bro, a loss, that's business, that's money, that's reputation. Like, there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it, my brother. Queen, what are you drinking, Jay Smith? This is called Malta India. There you go, right there, a malt. This is an acquired taste. Like, if you never drank it and you drink it for the first time, you're like, ah. But then after you drink it a couple of times, you get addicted to it. I've been drinking it in Dominican Republic. We drink this a lot, so I've been drinking it for a lot. Dominicans drink that a lot. Pasta track. But his situation is eating at his legacy. So I'm gonna tell you what. Tank Davis dealing with the situation that he's dealing with personally. I think it affects it. It affects him because he may be inactive. He may spend some time not fighting. The less he's gonna be in the ring when this happens, and it allows other people to get ahead of him in accomplishments and standings and rankings, all type of stuff. So he has to fight. He has to fight. But he also have to, there's always going to be that pressure on Tank Davis to fight the big dogs. Because it feels like we just get more of the same, more of the same. More of you fighting the good fighters, but not the best fighters. Pasta track. It does affect his legacy. I believe that too. Skipper Clipper. Good morning. Have you given your take on Foster and Ray Ford yet? So, I don't know what's going on with them because it seems like they both want to fight, but it seems like it's going to happen and it's not going to happen. And it's, I don't know if we're going to get that fight. Are we going to get that fight? JJ said that. So me at this point, Tank needs Shakur more than Shakur needs Tank. Honestly, it looks like Shakur's starting to tip the scales. I'm not ready to say that yet because Tank is a big star. And I think when he comes back, the numbers are going to be there to show that he's a big star. You know, I think he's going to show that. But the balance is starting to tip in Shakur's favor. Because now he got that win over Teofimo Lopez. He got that $10 million payday. The price is up. The star power is up. So he's getting closer. The letter M, J. Smith. Is it true Dominican like Malta with condensed milk? Yes, that is a classic mix. They'll take one of these, pour it in a cup, and then put some condensed milk. That's very popular. The Assassin. Tank gonna have to fight eventually. I mean, he'll either fight these guys or not. Because he could fight. He could literally have a career without stepping in the ring with these guys if he wants to. He's gonna make a lot of money. The fans are gonna watch his fights. They're gonna go to the venue. You know, he's gonna sell out a venue. He's gonna sell pay-per-views. So he could make money. He could continue to make a lot of money without having to fight these guys. That's the thing. Tank could have a career where he makes a lot of money. He's already made a lot of money, but he could continue to make millions of dollars without ever fighting Shakur, without ever fighting Devin, without ever fighting Tio. He could do it. So it's more a matter of him wanting to fight the best. And I kind of knew that Tank Davis was going to go in this direction. We always have a hope of who they're going to fight or who you want to see him fight. But I remember when Devin had a title, when Shakur had a title, when at 135 together with Tank, Tio had a title at 135 together with Tank. I remember those times, and Tank was already talking about, I don't need no belt. I don't need no belt. I don't care about no belt. So that already told me he wasn't trying to fight those guys. Because if you got these guys who are trying to accomplish, who are telling you, I'm a world champion here, I'm a world champion there, I'm a unified, if you got these guys trying to grab belts, and then you got Tank saying, I don't care about no belts, you're not trying to fight them. You know, so I've seen subliminal language from Tank Davis that tell me he don't want to fight these guys. I've seen it. The letter M. What if Tank takes the Jake Paul fight again? Nah, I think that ship has sailed already. I think that ship already sailed. You know, Jake Paul walked away from fighting Tank over the allegations that he's dealing with. So If Tank Davis has to take a plea bargain when he's pleading guilty to that type of a crime or to that type of situation, Jake Paul is not going to be able to associate himself with Tank Davis. And that's why I say he was going to pull out the fight before he did. I'm like, yo, Jake Paul's going to pull out 100%. He got MVP is made on women's boxing. He can't even be involved with Tank Davis having to deal with that situation about domestic violence. Jake Paul is a champion for the women, for women's boxing. So he would have put himself in a bad spot. All these women would have been looking at him like, yo, how you supporting that? What's good with you? So he had to pull the plug on that fight. Pasta track. This guy isn't got no business being compared to the Four Kings. I'm sorry. And that's as of right now. I mean, but you have to see, he'll come back and start and, get on his winning ways. He's just not going to fight any of them. Daniel Negron. Tank is always going to have star power. He needs to fight Roach. What is the problem? The problem is that Roach may have beaten him in that first fight. Technically did beat him in that first fight and got robbed. And he don't want to risk that L. He don't want to risk that O. JJ's in the house. 24 likes. Let's get more. Golly, my people. 24 likes. We've been at it for over an hour. Should have been at 60 likes by now. God damn. Y'all not playing around, bro. Y'all really not playing around. This is the fight to make, man. I already told you. This is the fight to make. Tank Davis versus Shakur Stevenson. But I lost hope, man, just like a lot of you guys. But you know what's another fight to make? There's another fight to make right here. Dana White versus Eddie Hearn. Jay is in the boxing for breakfast. Priceless ham, eggs, cheese, toast, coffee, and the sweet science. Oh, my goodness, bro. You enjoying that. You enjoying that. Ham, eggs, cheese, toast with coffee and the sweet science. Your morning is off to a bang, bro. Queen, this is why I say you should be a fighter consultant or fight manager. You're able to see the truth about the fighter's actions, but not frame it as something that can hurt their career overall. I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that. I like to work with fighters. I think I would be a very good advisor. I'd like to be an advisor. If I was Virgil Ortiz's advisor, he wouldn't be cooked right now. I would have told him, don't sue, bro. You're going to be cooked. Pasta track. I was never a fighter, but I played baseball. When we lost to a team, we wanted to play them again as fast as possible. Because, you see, even though baseball's a team sport, but there's still the competitive element to it. Wins and losses. When you lose, you want to get that get back. You want your opportunity to win. You want to have that possibility. Now, listen, guys. I'm going to be honest. The fact that we've never seen two promoters fighting each other, that arouses my interest. Pause. Like, damn, could this actually happen? Two promoters. Main event. And then they got fighters, Zuffa fighters against Matchroom fighters fighting each other. Headlined by Dana White and Eddie Hearn. Whoa. Whoa, my peoples. That will be a heck of a showdown. And I'm telling you right now, they both know how to throw them hands. They will be unloading upon each other. Don't knock me for wanting them to do it. Pasta track, these two goofballs, Jay. Daniel Negron, that would be insane. The letter M. It's going to be a whole lot of circling. Pasta track. Dana White goes down after he trips over his left foot. Damn, so Dana White just go down on his own? Eddie don't even gotta knock him down. So look, here's the tale of the tape on this one. From my version of tale of the tape. Dana White is strong. You could see him looking like he injected HGH. Eddie Hearn is in good shape. Eddie Hearn does a lot of running, a lot of working out. But Eddie is 10 years younger than Dana. 10 years younger. And he a big dude, my peoples. Eddie Hearn like 6'5". 6'5"? He's a unit, bro. And if they was to fight each other, I promise you, they will both have, a crazy training camp, like take it real serious and be real competitive about it. Track, a billionaire with the same size ego. The Hydro Grind, I want to see De La Hoya versus Dana. Nah, that's not fair, man. Damn, you want to see Dana get killed. You don't like Dana White, bro. You want to see him get killed. Oscar De La Hoya will put the beats, the nasty beats on him. That's not fair, though. B. Wayne, they got to finish the fight in a small Zuffa ring. Daniel Negron, Uncle Fester, and Eddie Hearn. The letter M, youth and size. I'm on Hearn's side. I'll take Hearn. Pasta track. Dana was supposed to box Tito Ortiz 20 years ago. And he backed out then. Yeah, but Tito Ortiz would have beat the crap out of him. He knows. Queen, this is going to be the saddest thing in history. Or the biggest joke. Dana versus Eddie is going to come before Tank versus Shakur. Man, listen. I don't think this will happen, but I would love to see it. Eddie is the British Dana. JJ's in us 27 likes. Let's go. NJ. Tito backed out. Whoa, Tito Ortiz backed out. I'm telling you right now, man. I have no problem with seeing two promoters get in there. And being the ones doing their thing. And I'm telling you, they could make a shitload of money, by the way. Netflix or The Zone or Paramount Plus, like whoever they want to do it at. Wherever they want to do it at. I pretty much guarantee you that they will make a lot of money if they wanted to fight each other. But I don't know. Honestly, I don't, two guys who have so much money, them getting in the ring to fight each other, I don't see it happening. Pasta track. You ever see Tito box? I'm not sure which Tito you're talking about. Queen, Zuffa versus Matchroom, all champions exhibition fights, headlining by Dana and Eddie. Now Zuffa versus Matchroom, not exhibition, real fights. Zuffa fighters versus, because remember, Matchroom did it with Queensberry. They could do the same thing. Matchroom, just like they did Matchroom versus Queensberry. I think they did Matchroom and Golden Glove too. But they could do Matchroom versus Zuffa, headlined by Eddie Hearn and Dana White. We tuning in, my peoples. I'm telling you. We're tuning in for this one. For sure. And let me ask you this question. Fellas. What is next for Virgil Ortiz? B. Wayne, 5-on-5. There you have it, bro. 5-on-5. They could make it happen. What is next for Virgil Ortiz? The letter M. Turkey should be the ref. Oh, Turkey as the ref. Now they should have two real good coaches. Two real good coaches. They got Bomac and Bozy. Those two. Bozy with Eddie Hearn. Bomac with Dana. Two real good boxing coaches. Positive track this goddamn situation. So Virgil is probably going to end up on a shelf. elf on the shelf, right? If he's gonna end up shelved up when the contract runs out, when they finish with the arbitration, what is Virgil gonna do next? What promotional companies he's gonna sign with? Well, Jason has one more light to get to 30. Should have been at 60. We've been going at it for over an hour, my peoples. Then on the ground, Virgil Ortiz, not even a champion, or is he? He's not a champion, bro. So far, he hasn't even fought for a title in his career. That's why I told you guys that he should have never sued. He was gonna put himself in a bad spot. Think about his generation, the fighters from his generation. He's, if I'm not mistaken, he's 27 years old right now. Look at the guys that are 27, 28. You know, as far as generational talent and the guys that are, you know, from this era, if they're elite in his age, most of them is already world champions. Quib, special commentator Jay Smith, you know it. Most of them is world champions. And it's been unified, multi-division, and Virgil ain't even fight for a title yet. Pasta trap, I screw this kid around as a side game. I think Virgil did it to himself. Or his team did it to him. Look, if I was Virgil Ortiz right now, I would already be firing. I'd be firing the manager, the lawyer, anybody who was involved with me trying to sue Oscar would be getting fired. Then on the ground, look at that. Not even a champ and suing your boss. I'm telling you, Virgil put himself in a very bad situation. Right now, we don't know when will Virgil Ortiz climb the ring again. There's no way to know. As long as he's dealing with Oscar De La Hoya in court and he's trying now to go to arbitration, bad situation to be in, my peoples. Pasta trap. Oscar going to build a shelf in a gym and make this kid sleep on it. My people's Devin Haney versus Rollies Romero. The predictions are all over the place with this fight, y'all. Quaid, Ortiz the goofball with the goofball team. I don't know, man. I'm telling you, there's too much goofballery going on over there. People need to be fired ASAP. You see this fight right here? It's going to be a very interesting one, y'all. Most people say that Devin Haney's going to win. And he's going to be the favorite come fight night. But Rollies is going to give him a heck of a fight. People are underestimating what Rollies bring to the table. It's going to be a good one, yo. The letter M. Can you sell the fighter's contract to another promotion? I don't know if you could sell it to another promotion, to be honest, but a fighter can buy himself out of his contract. Floyd Mayweather famously bought himself out of Top Rank. The thing out of buying your contract is that your promotion your promoter put a price on it. So Oscar De La Hoya could tell Virgil, okay, you want to buy yourself out? Give me 50 million. Give me 100 million. Oh, you ain't got it? Well, I can't sell it to you. You cooked. You're going to stick around. You're going to play out. You're going to honor this contract, you goofball. Queen, in your opinion, which promotion is going to take Ortiz with his goofball reputation now? I mean, I think it's going to be about the money. His price is going to have to go down. His expectations for how much money he's gonna make is gonna have to go down. Especially if Oscar just keep him on the shelf, his stock is gonna go down. So I think he'll be able to go to Matchroom. Eddie Hearn already showed interest in signing him. I think he'll also be able to go to Zuffa Boxing if he wants to. Dana already said he's trying to sign anybody who he feels like has the potential to be a world champion. Dana White is going to sign him. He already said, I'm going to sign him if I can. Pass a track. There's business and then there's boxing. Daniel O'Grant, when is this fight? I think it's in April. April or May, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but they already have a fight date and everything. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be an interesting fight. I'm telling you right now, I'm looking forward to it. Ain't nobody getting washed. My people, did you guys see what Jake Paul said about his ranking? He's upset that he's ranked like number 11 or 12. He actually, look what he said. I took Anthony Joshua to life and death, had him rocked, and almost out cold. This motherfucker's delusional, yo. He delusional. He had AJ almost out cold, and he had him going life and death. Bro, you was literally running around the ring and he was chasing you until he got you. What are you talking about? Absolutely destroyed you. Broke your jaw in 2 places. Damn near killed you with that punch. In my whole life, I never heard of a fighter get their jaw broken in 2 places. He punched him so hard that it broke his jaw at the point of impact and in the other side. And you're talking about you had AJ going life and death. Yeah, he almost killed you. That's the only life and death I know. He almost took your life. The letter M, Jake Paul be booking scripts. Mag 7 Life. The tank haters sit back and watch the face of boxing sell out. Ha ha ha. Yeah, Mag Life, but he's selling out, but who he fighting? That's the thing, man. Like, the Tankomaniacs want everybody to fight the best except Tank Davis. Tank Davis could fight guys from lower divisions, guys in weight classes, guys that ain't never won a world title. When is he going to fight Shakur? When is he going to fight Devin, bro? Max 7 Life, Pitbull. Pitbull, you for real, bro? Look, it might be a rematch with Pitbull. Who want to see that? Who want to see a rematch with Pitbull? Don't mind my milkshake getting made right now. Daniel O'Brien. Jay has never been funny, just annoying. The letter M. Jake Paul is cool with getting his jaw broken, but any legit fighter for content. I mean, damn, yo, he got brutalized, bro. Max 7 Life, when Shakur called out Pitbull, y'all said that's a great fight. Who are you talking about, y'all? Like, who are you talking about? Shakur called out everybody. Shakur got to call out Pitbull too, because Tank don't want to fight him. Tank's scared to death. When, you see, that's you got to understand the difference. Tank fight anybody he want. Shakur fight whoever's willing to get in the ring with him. But now he got Teofimo Lopez under his belt. Who Tank got under his belt? Ryan Garcia is his best win of his career. That shit is embarrassing. Ramirez. Wasn't Shakur calling out Pitbull after winning the ring? What the F? Why Shakur don't fight Devin? Devin is at 147. What are you talking about? Why you want Shakur Stevenson to fight a guy in a higher division than him, but you don't want Tank to fight a guy in a higher division than him? I don't understand that. Help me understand that shit. hydro grind. Pitbull gave him a good fight, but it was because of the last minute replacement. If Tank prepares, nah, bro. Pitbull gave him a good fight because Tank damn near broke his hand like in the third round. He beat Pitbull Cruz with one hand. One hand. Ramirez. Shaki was calling out Shakur. Everybody's calling out Shakur now. He want to pay it. He can't get in there with everybody at the same time, bro. BBO Sports. My guy, I need you in my podcast. Just let me know. All you got to do is let me know, bro. Hit me in the comment section of any other videos. Yo, Jay, it's me, BBO. Let's set something up. We'll make it happen, family. Max 7 Life. When is Shakur going to fight Devin? I mean, I don't know. I don't know when they're going to be in the same division. Ask them. Ramirez, you asking Tank, though. Bro, Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez, they was all champions at 135, while Tank Davis was at 135. He ain't never fight nobody. He ain't never fight none of them. He refused to fight any of them. I mean, what are we talking about? Max 7 Life. So why you want Tank to fight Devin if Shakur is bigger than Tank? How do you decide that Shakur is bigger than Tank? Tank fought at 140 before Shakur. Tank was at 135 while Shakur was at 130. What are you talking about? How is Tank bigger? How is Shakur bigger? How exactly is Shakur bigger? He got one fight at 140 and Tank fought at 140 years ago. When was that he fought Mario Barrios at 140? Start with the fake news, bro. Tank fought at 140 before Shakur. Tank was a weight bully at 135. He can't even make 135 no more, while Shakur can still fight at 135. Be realistic. Be for real. The letter M. Pitbull will get effed up. Pitbull's going to get beat up. That's an easy win for Tank. The first fight, like I told you guys, the first fight, Tank Davis and Pitbull Cruz, it was competitive because Tank Davis had to do it with one hand. Tank Davis beat Pitbull Cruz the same way Shakur Stevenson beat Edwin De Los Santos. One hand. You don't see the hate that Shakur get? That fans didn't even want to accept that he beat De Los Santos one-handed. They just wanted to make it, oh, he boring. Look, he boring. He don't throw no punches. Beat De Los Santos with one hand. Tank Davis beat Pitbull with one hand. If they fight again, that's going to be an easy cherry for Tank. Easy cherry. I'm telling you that right now. But got the Tankomaniacs. The Tankomaniacs don't mind the Tank Davis cherry picking. They want everybody else to fight the best. They don't want Tank to fight the best. That's just the reality. Jason asks, everyone want that boogeyman payday. They want payday. Ramirez, oh, now if they want a payday, what the hell you think fighters want with Tank belt? Jay Smith, I love you. Pero you be switching it up. I don't know what are you talking about switching it up. I want the best to fight the best. That never switches up. You don't want Tank Davis to fight the best. You want other people to fight the best, but Tank Davis, he could fight whoever he want. He put more butts in seats. Like, what are you talking about? Reef, Tankomaniacs strong. In the chat today, the Tankomaniacs go hard, bro. Tankomaniacs are going to fight for his honor, tooth and nail. Tank is the only one they're allowed to cherry pick. Everybody else go fight the best. Max 7. Life. Yo, the hate y'all have for Tank is glaring. Nah, that's the thing. When you're a tankomaniac, you can't handle the truth. Everything sounds like hate to you. It's either you gotta be in Tank Davis' Kizak or you hate him. That's how y'all feel about it. You gotta be his Kizak or you hate him. That letter M. Tank is just short, but homie can fight big. He just doesn't want to fight anybody. And that's the thing. People try to, his own fans try to use that. No, he's little. He's little. Tank be walking around in the 160s and 170s. Yo. Tank is literally a weight bully at 135. Literally a weight bully at 135. Tank moved up to 135 when he was 25 years old. And at 30, he's still at 135. While all these guys kept moving up, T.O. moved up, Shakur moved up, already fought at 140, Devin already all the way at 147. Tank was still shrinking himself down to 135. That's slick shit to fight little guys. And his last fight at 135, who he fought? A 130-pounder. Lamar Roach was a 130-pounder who moved up to fight Tank. Androide was a 130-pounder who moved up to fight Tank. Ramirez, tell me what are the other fighters that are moving little guys up from another division to fight them? Who? I never seen Shakur bring nobody up from 130 to fight him at 135. I didn't see Devin taking a little guy from a smaller division moving up to fight him. I didn't see Teofimo Lopez taking a little guy, moving him up to fight him. Why is Tank Davis bringing these little 130-pounders? Why Tank Davis bringing little 130-pounders to fight him at 135? Multiple, not just one. Going down to 130 to fight little Leo. What are we doing, bro? When is Tank gonna actually fight the guys in his division? Tank Davis been at 135 for 5 years and never fought a single reigning champion. Ramirez, how do you even excuse that, bro? How can you even excuse that? 5 years at 135 did not fight a single reigning champion. How do you even live with that? You need to be disgusted that you defend that. Leroy Devin Haney is the face of boxing. Devin versus Ryan is the biggest fight in boxing. Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia is a big fight. That's a big fight. But I like Ryan Garcia versus Shakur Stevenson more. I prefer to see a new fight than a rematch. And I like that rematch. Don't get it twisted. I like the rematch. But I prefer to see two guys that I haven't seen face each other before. Pass the track. Tankomaniacs can have their own stream on reasons why Tank shouldn't fight. Yo, that's a fact. Tankomaniacs can have a stream on why Tank Davis is allowed to cherry pick and why he don't need to fight none of the best. Reef Jake, same 3 Stan fan base that go at it. J Money King, right on point. Tank is a hype job for no one. Sorry, bro. I mean, we could say that Tank is a hype job. It's reasonable to say that Tank is a hype job. Because he only got the Tankomaniacs on his side. Outside of the Tankomaniacs, everybody see the truth. Everybody see that he ain't never want to fight none of the best. Some guy, Shakur said Tank be moving like a bee. No lies told. Max 7 Life, Devin always fight smaller guys. Ramirez, you just showing me you not hip to how fighters shrink down. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about, man. Young Guns. Whoa, Young Guns with the super chat vibes. Salute, family. Appreciate you, brother. What fight you like more for Dev? Rolly or Tank? Oh, what fight I like more? Dev Rolly or Tank Pitbull? 100% Dev Rollies. It's not even close. 100%. Number one, Tank versus Pitbull is not a fight I want. Nobody's calling for that fight. This is yet another fight that nobody wanted, but only the Tankomaniacs are happy with. Because the Tankomaniacs, I bet you Ramirez is happy. Like, yeah, yo, that's a great fight. Tank versus Pitbull, that's an amazing fight. But we already saw that shit. We saw Tank Davis beat Pitbull with one hand. Why we want to see that again? But like I told you, Tank is a big star. And even though that's not the fight that we want, we're going to watch it. I'm going to tune in. I'm going to watch it. We're going to support it. But we already see that the Tank cherry picking continues. The Tank cherry picking tour has not ended. Gonna be a whole cherry pick career. Rib J, folks don't notice sarcasm I see. The letter M, Shakur is more of the next face, not Haney. I agree. I see Shakur as the next face of boxing. I mean, come on now. Devin Haney ducked Shakur. We all know that. We all know how Devin ducked at 135. Let's not act like we don't know. The letter M. Who's the face of boxing to you? I mean, look. Canelo, I think he's on his way out. I think right now, he's still the guy. Right now. But the next face of boxing, I believe, is going to be Shakur Stevenson. You see, when Canelo leaves the sport of boxing, the next face of boxing is not just gonna, oh, it's this guy. It doesn't work that way. There's gonna be a group of guys. David Benavidez, Devin Haney, Jerome Buzanis, Shakur Stevenson. If he keeps winning, Xander Sayers can be in that mix too. There's going to be a group of fighters who are all going to be fighting for that spot to be the next face of boxing. And it's going to take a little bit of time for them to settle in to see who's going to be the guy. Now, out of that group that I mentioned, the biggest win right now, this year in 2026, is from Shakur Stevenson because he beat Teofimo Lopez. By the way, Tank Davis is one of them too. Tank Davis is one of them too that could become the face of boxing. I know for Tankamaniacs, Tank been the face of boxing for the last 10 years. But he's not the face of boxing, you know. He's not nowhere, he doesn't have nowhere near the popularity of Canelo Alvarez. He doesn't make more money than Canelo Alvarez. He's not more famous or have nowhere near the popularity of Canelo Alvarez. So, you know, Tank Davis fans in that manner tend to be delusional. He the face of boxing, he the face. No. Like, what exactly are you measuring to say that Tank Davis is the face of boxing? What are you measuring? Your own delusional state. He's the face of boxing because I said so. I guess. But no, right now the face of boxing is Canelo Alvarez. You have to take into consideration the most important aspect of being the face of boxing. Popularity. Right now, I'll give you an example. I could print a picture of Canelo Alvarez. I could go into the store and ask, who is this? And there's going to be people there who tell me that's Canelo that don't even follow boxing like that. Not even casual fans. People who don't even follow boxing. They'll tell me, oh, that's Canelo right there. And then if I go to that same store with a picture of Tank Davis, not one person there is going to tell me who that is. Who the fuck is that? They not going to know. They're going to be clueless. Remember, I'm in Dominican Republic. So what you have to understand is that here, boxing is not as big as it is in the U.S. It's not as big as it is in Europe, in the UK. So what I'm trying to show you is, even in countries where they don't follow boxing like that, they know Canelo's face. Tank Davis, they couldn't pull him out of a lineup over here. If I don't go like to a boxing gym or something like that, and I show Tank Davis' picture anywhere, people not even going to pull him out of a lineup. They're going to say, who's that? Who is that? They're not going to know him. They won't know him. So Canelo popularity is way, way, way above Tank Davis. Like, it's not even close. Matter of fact, look. One of the most simple indicators of popularity is social media, my people. And to be even more specific, Instagram. Instagram tell you how popular somebody is. And let me show you. Tank Davis, right now, he deactivated his IG, but he has like 3 million, 4 million followers on Instagram. Yo, Canelo Alvarez got 19 million followers. More than triple the amount of people that follow Tank Davis. And that's just not for IG. That's for any platform, any social media platform where you look at both of them. Canelo has more fans by millions. Look at the venues that they sold out. Tank Davis selling out the Barclay. She got like 20,000 seats. Canelo Alvarez selling out Dallas Stadium. Like 80,000 seats. The place that Tank Davis sold out, that shit fit in a corner of Dallas Stadium. A little corner of Dallas Stadium. You can fit that whole joint in there. Just a little corner. Bam. Here, Tank, fight in this corner. That's what you sold out. So you have to understand, Canelo Alvarez. Ramirez says, damn, bro, you a lot. Tank Davis got 8 million. Okay, he deactivated. I can't see what he got. I'm guessing. He got 8 million. But again, 8 million to 19 million, bro. That's over 10 million followers. You know what's 10 million followers? Over 10 million followers over Tank Davis. That tells you right there that the level of popularity, 19 million to 8, 11 million more than Tank Davis. The popularity level is not even close. It's not even close. So when you have 8 million for this guy, 19 million for this guy, who's the face of boxing? Leroy. AJ got more than 19 million. AJ's super popular. AJ's super popular. There you go. So, and this, well, that wouldn't count, right? Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather got more, but that really doesn't count because obviously they're not active. They're not. But when you look at Canelo Alvarez and you look at the popularity, he's the guy. He's the guy. So who's going to be next? Who's going to take over after Canelo Alvarez? Max 7 Life. Now, how many Shakur got? I don't know. But he's going to be the next face of boxing. He's the next face of boxing. He got millions. I don't know how many millions. Look, somebody had to fact check me for Tank Davis because I couldn't see it. Fernando Vargas. Are you talking about Fernando Vargas Jr.? Or the Fernando Vargas? The letter M, Benavidez. I hope rises to the top. So, Benavidez is going to be one of those guys. That's why I mentioned the next face of boxing is going to be between David Benavidez, Jerome Bruce Ennis, Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, possibly Xander Sayers, Tank Davis, and there's a couple others in there. So that group of fighters, when one of them rises as the face of boxing, it's not like all those guys are going to fall off. Well, Ryan Garcia could be in the conversation too. Ryan Garcia could be in the conversation. He's a world champion right now. But for him to be in the conversation, he's going to have to, he's going to have to defend the title. He's going to have to unify. He's going to have to accomplish like the other guys. That's what puts Tank Davis behind in the face of boxing race. There's multiple elements to it. You gotta check the boxes. Let me give you an example so you can see. Look at the face of boxing right now, right? It's Canelo Alvarez. So when you look at Canelo Alvarez, think about, number one, his popularity, right? Popularity off the charts. But it's not popularity alone. Not popularity alone. Because if it was just popularity, then, well, Jake Paul is the face of boxing. Jake Paul is the face. It's not just popularity. Right? It's multiple elements. Popularity, number one. You got to have that. But number two, accomplishments. Who you beat. What did you accomplish? Look at the last two face of boxing, Canelo Alvarez, and before him, Floyd Mayweather. Won titles in a bunch of different divisions. Floyd Mayweather, in his case, obviously retired 50-0, but you look at Canelo Alvarez, he became undisputed champion, unified champion in multiple divisions. So it's not just the popularity, it's the accomplishments. Both of them got Hall of Famers in their resume, people that are going straight to the Hall of Fame or that are in the Hall of Fame. So you gotta have a resume that validates that you're the guy. Both of them got to number one in the pound for pound list. At one point, Floyd Mayweather was number one pound for I don't know how long. The same thing with Canelo Alvarez. He was number one in the pound for pound list for how long? Tank Davis ain't never been number one in the pound for pound list. When you look at the face of boxing, when you go all the way back to when people consider Sugar Ray Leonard the face of boxing, take it back further when Ali was the face of boxing. The face of boxing has always been somebody who made it to number one on the pound for pound list. Tank Davis never been number one on the pound for pound list. He got a Mickey Mouse belt at 135, secondary champion. Another Mickey Mouse belt at 140. Tank Davis is the Mickey Mouse champion collector. He got the record for Mickey Mouse belt at this point. So who he beat that would put him top 5 on the pound for pound list? Nobody. He didn't beat nobody. So you're not going to be the face of boxing and you're not even on the pound for pound list, bro. It's just not happening. You're going to be the face of boxing to the Tankomaniacs. The Tankomaniacs will be like, Tank is the face of boxing no matter what he do and no matter who he don't fight. But when you're looking at the accomplishments, he don't got no chance. These guys are in their 20s. These guys haven't even gotten to 30 years old yet. And they're all more accomplished than Tank Davis. That's the reason why Devin Haney's saying, yo, Tank Davis is underaccomplished. That's right. Ain't no lies told. What's the exact words that he said? Look at it right here. He's an underachiever. That's the word I was looking for. Tank Davis is an underachiever. He hasn't been able to achieve what these guys have. He hasn't been able to accomplish what these guys have. He hasn't made it on the pound for pound list. I think at one point he was like maybe 8, 9 on the pound for pound list. I'm not sure. But still, all these guys are younger than Tank and they all got a better resume than him. That's the reality. Young Dolph, Shakur, Tio, Devin, all past Tank up in accomplishments. And that's what I'm talking about. Only the Tankomaniacs don't see that. Only the Tankomaniacs find everything to talk about except the fact that all these guys got a better resume than Tank and all of them is younger than him. We see that. The average boxing fan sees it. The fighters see it. The coaches see it. Everybody sees it except the Tankomaniacs. Look what Shakur just did right now. Moved up to 140, beat Teofimo Lopez. A lineal champion, a ring belt champion, a unified champion. One of the most accomplished fighters of this generation. Shakur moved up to 140 and beat him. Look what Devin Haney did. Moved up to 140. Brian Norman Jr., who was obliterating everybody. Devin Haney took on that challenge, beat him. So both of these guys, Shakur and Devin, they moved up and they challenged the champion in the division, the boogeyman of the division. And both won. How about Tank Davis? He's going to move to 140. A rematch with Mario Barrios. More of the same shit, bro. More of the same bullshit. Really? A rematch with Pitbull Cruz? Come on, my peoples. How much more can Tank Davis do this to us? How much more can he keep fighting guys that are not the top dogs? You look at the difference between what the other guys are doing. The other guys Right now, they all world champions. They're all world champions right now. But look what Devin and Shakur specifically did. Jump up to a new division. Go straight for the world champion. Shakur made his debut at 140 versus Teofimo Lopez. Devin made his debut in the welterweight division versus Brian Norman Jr. Tank gonna make his debut versus a guy that he already beat. Versus a guy that nobody asking him to fight. Nobody asking for this. Nobody want this. Only the Tanker maniacs. Tanker fight whoever he wants because he put butts in seats. And because he's selling pay-per-views. Huh? Come on, man. Leroy. Tank moved up to 140 to fight Barrios, who had the WBA regular, the WBA trinket. Josh Taylor was the undisputed champion when Tank moved up for a secondary belt. He collecting secondary belt. At 135, that was a secondary belt that he beat off of washed up Gamboa. Secondary belt off of washed up Gamboa, and then secondary belt off of Mario Barrios. Collecting secondary belts out there. Could you believe that Tank Davis is going to leave from the 135 division and he never fought a reigning champion in that division? Not one reigning champion. That's crazy. While these guys is fighting actual champions, Tank Davis out there looking for secondary belts and not fighting. Tank Davis has never unified titles in his career. 30 years old. Shakur, Teo, Devin, they've already unified titles in multiple divisions. Multiple divisions. Tank Davis, the secondary belt king at this point. Come on, man. Jay is in the Jay Smith. Tank wants to fight little Leo Santa Cruz, man. I wouldn't be surprised. Young Guns. He is typing out novels. Golly. Unhinged for Tank Davis. Young Guns. WBA regular belt Barrios had. Josh Taylor was undisputed at the time at 140. You see, that's what I'm saying. Like, how Josh Taylor was the undisputed champion at 140 and they went after Mario Barrios. Really? After Mario Barrios' secondary belt? After you got a secondary belt at 135, how many secondary belts can your fans handle, bro? How many secondary belts can you actually collect? You want to have a secondary belt collection? Because that shit is not going to get you in the Hall of Fame, bro. You're not getting in the Hall of Fame with them secondary belts. You got to actually have the real one. Underrated, Will. Not too much for my guy, Jay Smith, but facts. Young Guns, Jay Smith. Whatever happened to Ellerby? I guess they fired him. I mean, supposedly Ellerby left the money team to go work directly with Tank. So that's what's supposedly the case. I don't know if they fired him or not, but the last I heard, he was in Tank's team. The letter M. Tank seems to never take the fight that he should be taking. Tank shaking in his boots at reigning champions. Look, man, honestly, hearing that Tank will fight Pitbull next or might fight Pitbull next, honestly, that's mad disappointing to me. I'm disappointed to hear that because I'm like, damn, man, Tank, he's so nice. He's so skilled. He got that power, got that ring IQ, always give us a good fight. But damn, man, the cherry picking tour continues. The cherry picking tour continues. Pasta track. Tank shaking in his boots. Tank is a tomato can crusher. I mean, you know, he loved it. Look, if you look at Tank's whole resume, it's crazy. Crazy. Look, I'm not going to tell you to look at Tank's resume, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you something. Watch this. Look, this is Tank. I'm looking at the box rack. So I'm looking at Tank's resume, my peoples. I'm going to read some names. Look. Look. Watch this. Francisco Fonseca. Julio Andrés Cuellar. Hugo Ruiz. Ricardo Núñez. Yuriorki Gamboa. Leo Santa Cruz. Mario Barrios. Isaac Cruz. Rolando Romero. Héctor Luis García. Ryan Garcia. My man put together a whole resume fighting with people. Mexico, Guadalajara, Guatemala. All of them countries south of the border, B, is most of his resume, bro. Look at the resume. What are we talking about? Last two guys, Lamar Roach and Frank Martin. But before Lamar Roach and Frank Martin, look, Ryan Garcia, Hector Luis Garcia, Rolando Romero, Isaac Cruz, Mario Barrios, Leo Santa Cruz, Yuriorki Gamboa, Ricardo Núñez, Hugo Ruiz, Marcelos Cuellar, Francisco Fonseca, Jose Pedraza, Mario Antonio Macias, Guillermo Godínez, Luis Sanchez, Cristobal Cruz. Like, what? Are you serious, B? Are they only fighting people south of the border? I named Mag 7 Life. I did. Frank and Roach was the last two fighters. But goddamn, 99% of his resume, yo, is people from Mexico, Guatemala, Guadalajara, all them horror countries. All the countries that are, you know, in the vicinity of Mexico. The letter M. Frank Martin looked like a skeleton when he fought Tank. Yeah, he did look, you know how that go. Max 7 Life. Now name Shakur. Watch this, y'all. Oh, I can name him. Hold on. Watch this. You see, if it's a reasonable request, we can meet the request. That's exactly what I'm doing. So, last fight for Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez. So, Max 7 Life, who in Tank whole resume is better than Teofimo Lopez? Tank whole resume. He 30 years old. Shakur's 28. Who in Tank resume is better than Teofimo Lopez? I'll wait. Now I'm asking you to tell me, who is better than Teofimo Lopez in Tank whole resume? Y'all see this, my people? Y'all see this? That's what it's called, being a tankomaniac. Now Ryan is better than Teofimo Lopez. Ryan, who just won his first title. Tank Davis never won a title in his life. Frank Martin never won a title in his life. He's better than Teofimo Lopez. Pitbull Cruz better than Teo. You see what happens when you're a tankomaniac? You say delusional stuff. You really say people that are nowhere near as accomplished as Teofimo Lopez are better than him just because Tank beat them. Pitbull Cruz just went life and death with Lamar Roach and got 2 losses in his resume. We're like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Now titles mean nothing. No, titles mean nothing to tankomaniacs. To the rest of the world, they mean something. That's the thing. You twist the whole boxing around to adapt to Tank Davis while he cherry-picking fighters that never accomplished nothing. You got to stop doing that. Y'all sound delusional. Y'all sound delusional. Young Guns, Shakur is a legit 4-division champ, 2 lineal champ, a unified, of course. You see, that's the thing. Because all these guys are more accomplished than Tank Davis, Max 7 Life, and Tankomaniacs, you guys, that don't mean nothing. That don't mean nothing. Oh, it means something. The best are fighting the best. It's only Tank that's not out there fighting the best. Tank not fighting the best. And Shakur didn't say F the belts, he said F the WBC. I like the way you twist things around, man. Tankomaniacs never say the truth. You guys always take the truth and twist it around in your favor. Shakur didn't say fuck the belts, he said fuck the WBC. But I like the way you do that. That's good. But Shakur's actually saying right now that he wants to go down to 135 and become the Ring Magazine champion, ring belt champion at 135, because he never got that one. So you see, Shakur's going to look to keep accomplishing. But I like the way that you mix in the truth with a little bit of a lie. That's a good technique. Jay isn't that Jay Smith. You're lying. Tank won the duck title of the world. Yo, he got the duck belt. He got the duck belt. Young Guns. Only hardcore Tank fans tear down other fighters' accolades. You see it. That's why Tank Davis fans, y'all not good for boxing, bro. Tank Davis fans, they not good for boxing because all they do is diminish accomplished fighters just to defend Tank Davis. In order to defend Tank Davis' honor, they diminish everybody and everything in boxing to fight for Tank Davis' honor. It's like you guys are not good for boxing. You guys are not good fans. You're not fans of boxing. You don't support boxing. You only support Tank Davis. And that's the reason why Tank got a fight, is able to just cherry pick his whole career. Because you guys, when it comes to his opponents, you uplift them above everybody just to defend Tank Davis' honors. Just for that. It's like, wait a minute. You're really saying that Teofimo is better? Teofimo? That Pitbull is better than Teofimo Lopez? Like, did you really say that? Pitbull is better than Teo. You're embarrassing yourself. Max 7 Life. To say that Pitbull Cruz is better than Teofimo, you embarrass yourself. Embarrassed. To say that Frank Martin is better than Teofimo, you embarrass yourself. Because you're only saying two things. Either you don't know shit about boxing, or you simply hate Shakur so much that you got to uplift Tank Davis' opponents from a Tankomaniac point of view. There is nobody that agrees with you saying that these guys are better than Teofimo Lopez. Well, none of them dudes accomplished nowhere near what this guy done. Like, that's crazy, bro. That's like Tankomaniac Kizak in your mizalf, like all the way down there. Pause. The letter M. There's levels. Teo is the top tier. But that's the thing, bro. When you don't know shit about boxing, you say anything. Anything for Tank Davis and to defend Tank Davis' honor. But ultimately, we know what the pound for pound list is about. We know what the pound for pound list is about. We know who gets to the top of the pound for pound list. We know who are the best fighters in the world. We know who are fighting the best fighters in the world. So ultimately, it's not Tank Davis. It's not Tank Davis. Max 7 Life, who fought more world champions, Tank or Shakur, since you like belts? Wow, you really set yourself up for that one, bro. Shakur fought more world champions. Shakur fought more reigning world champions than Tank Davis. Look how easy. Look how easy you're going to get done up. Shakur fought Oscar Valdez as a reigning world champion. Shakur fought Jamel Herring as a reigning world champion. Shakur now fought Teofimo Lopez as a reigning world champion. Max 7 Life, tell me the reigning world champions Tank Davis fought. Yeah, tell me the reigning world champions. Take your time. Take your time. I named 3 reigning world champions, and all of them are in the same division that Shakur was in. Oscar Valdez was an undefeated reigning world champion at 130 when Shakur beat him. Jamel Herring was a reigning world champion when Shakur beat him. And now, Teofimo Lopez, a reigning world champion, when Shakur moved up and beat him. Tell me the reigning world champions. Take your time, Max 7 Life. Tell me the reigning world champions Tank Davis beat. You see how fast he was talking? Google it. Google it. Shakur Stevenson, 3 reigning world champions. Go ahead. Oh, oops. Look, Max 7 Life, now you just cooked yourself. When Rollies fought Tank, he had never won a title. When Ryan Garcia fought Tank, he had never won a title. When Pitbull fought Tank, he had never won a title. Lamar Roach was never a champion in the 135 division when he fought Tank. He was never a champion. He moved up, made his debut, and Tank didn't beat him. So now you really sound like a goofball. Tank didn't beat Lamar Roach. That was a draw that everybody saw him losing because Lamar Roach got robbed. So you name one legitimate name on there, Pedraza. Pedraza was a reigning world champion in the same division Tank Davis was fighting. You cooked yourself. You see, Max 7 Life, you really cooked yourself. Moving the goalposts, are you that much of a tankomaniac? Rolly wasn't a champion. We talking about beat champions. Rolly was not a champion. Ryan was not a champion. And Pitbull was not a champion. You just named 3 people that were not champions when Tank Davis fought him and had never won a title when Tank Davis fought him. What Paul you talking about? You really putting him with champions that was not champions when he fought them? And I'm bringing up reigning world champions that Shakur Stevenson took their titles? I'm schooling you over here, man. And you want me to get a frying pan so you could jump in it and cook yourself? I'm telling you, reigning world champions that Shakur took a title from, and you brought up Rollies. Rollies had never won a title when he fought Tank. Ryan had never won a title before he fought Tank. Pitbull had never won a title before he fought Tank. How are you bringing up people that never won a title before they fought Tank? What kind of goalposts you got going on over here, son? Kind of goalposts? What kind of goofballery? Max 7 Life, guess what? Gamboa had a secondary title. Oops! Tankomaniacs count the trinket belts as a real title? Gamboa had a secondary title. Oops! Oops! Mario Barrios, a secondary title. Oops. Oops. So you see, that's what happened when you got to fight a Kizak in your mid-south. You name one fighter. Oh, little Leo Santa Cruz, who Tank Davis moved down to fight? Are you talking about that one? Look, Max 7 Life, look how your list keep adapting. Little Leo Santa Cruz, who Tank Davis moved down to fight him? Gamboa had a secondary title. You still want to believe that's a real title? Oops. 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 Collecting secondary titles and you count them as legit? Oops. You see the difference between a real resume and a fake resume that Tank Davis, Tankomaniacs believe in? You bringing up guys who never won a title before fighting Tank. You bringing up guys from lower divisions. You bringing up secondary titles. You see how I didn't have to do all that for Shakur? I brought up real reigning champions in the division with real main titles that Shakur beat. So that's the difference between a Tankomaniac and an analyst. You want to make everything legit for Tank. But you talking to somebody that understands it, bro. What are you doing? What are you doing bringing up secondary titles? You embarrassing yourself and embarrassing Tank. Because I don't want to bring it up that they secondary titles. You really brought up Gamboa for the secondary title? Really? Did you see me bringing up secondary titles for Shakur? No, you didn't see me doing that. I brought up the world champions that held the belt and Shakur beat them. Why are you making me cook you like this, bro? I don't want to cook you like this. I don't want to put you and Ramirez in a frying pan and cook you with olive oil. That's not what I'm trying to do. But you really brought up guys who never won a title when they fought Tank to say that he beat champions. Bro, I don't know if you knew this, but when you say you beat a champion, it usually means that they were a champion and you beat them. It doesn't mean that you beat them and years later they became a champion. You did not beat a reigning champion. Do you understand the difference? You understand the difference between beating a champion and not beating a champion? So you have to stop moving the goalposts to make Rolly's a champion versus Tank Davis, because he was not. Stop moving the goalposts to make Ryan Garcia champion when he fought Tank Davis, because he was not. You the only one moving the goalposts, buddy. You making these people champions when they were not champions. What are you doing, bro? Don't cook yourself. Make it harder. Don't make it this easy. You said, like, you were the one that said Tank Davis beat more champions. I'm like, okay, what are the champions he beat? Rollies. Rollies wasn't a champion. Ryan wasn't a champion. Pitbull wasn't a champion. Gamboa had a secondary title, not even a main title. Like, what are you doing, bro? You keep cooking yourself. Some guy, take him to school, champ. Like, I don't understand, bro. They cook themselves. They say that Tank Davis beat more champions and then start naming guys that were not champions when Tank Davis beat them. And then he's saying, I'm moving the goalpost. I'm moving it. How am I moving the goalpost when you're the one making guys champions who were not champions? Bro, at least tell the truth. At least tell the truth. Max 7 Life. At least tell the truth. Be honest. If you're honest with yourself and honest with the people, it's harder to cook you because you're being honest. But it's too easy to cook you when you stand here talking about Tank beat more champions. Ryan, Rollies, huh? Pitbull. You just named 3 people that was not champions when Tank Davis beat them. Why would you say Tank Davis beat more champions and bring up people that was not champions? Cooking yourself, bro. Cooking yourself, embarrassing Tank Davis, embarrassing Ramirez over here. You embarrassing the whole tank of maniacs with those answers. The letter M. We got off the rail here. It's okay to say, Jay Smith, you got it. No shame, brother. Nah, they're gonna fight. They're gonna fight. They're gonna kick and scream for Tank Davis. Look, I tell you, Tank got the most loyal fans in boxing, because they will cook themselves fighting for Tank Davis. They will literally cook themselves. Max 7 Life over here talking about, look at all the champions that Tank Davis beat. And he's naming guys who was not champions. How the fuck? How do you move the future goalpost to the present? He didn't move the goalpost forward. He brought the future to the present, and guys who had never been world champions, he decided that they were world champions for Tank Davis. What are we doing over here? What are we doing? Beat more champions? Usually that means, look, beating a champion usually means that guy has a belt, you beat him, you took his belt. Shakur Stevenson did that 3 times. Took a guy, beat him, and took his belt. My man said that Tank Davis beat Rollies. Didn't take no belt for Rollies. Rollies never had a title. Didn't take no belt for Ryan. Ryan didn't have a title. Didn't take no belt for Pitbull. Pitbull didn't have a title. How do you name those 3 names when talking about the champions he beat, when none of those guys were champions? What are we doing over here, my peoples? Golly. I didn't know this thing was going to turn into a cooking show. That's not what I was trying to do. Pasta track. How them guys get belts after losing the Tank? We comp. We're not even going to get into that. Look, we don't even have to get into that. That's okay. The point is that none of them was world champions. You can't Tank beat more champions and then bring up guys that he beat that was not champions. What are you doing, bro? Dude, look, that's it, man. You're going to have to make me do it, bro. That's it. You're going to have to make me do it. Go ahead, bro. Jump up in here. Go ahead, jump in here. I got the broth for you. Go ahead. That's it. Might as well jump in this frying pan and fry yourself, bro. Cooking yourself. Like, what are we, like, I'm trying to tell y'all, bro. Look. Bro, go ahead. Tell me that Tank beat more champions, and then tell me guys that were not champions when he beat them. And then also tell me I'm the one moving the goalposts. But they never won a title, but he beat more champions when he beat them. Go ahead, jump in here, bro. Ramirez and bro, just jump in here and fry yourselves. Golly. I didn't expect that this was going to be a cooking show, my people, but they wanted to cook themselves. So ultimately, Shakur Stevenson, like I told y'all, beat more reigning champions than Tank Davis. That's just the reality. I didn't want to cook on my peoples, but this is boxing for breakfast. We all have breakfast this morning. Positive track. I'm cooking Jay. Underrated Will. It's really a good morning. Max 7. Who has more champions on their resume? Tank or Shakur? Oh, now you're saying who has more champion on their resume? Because you want to take future champions. Who beat more reigning champions? Shakur Stevenson. Don't try to change it up now. Just because you got cooked. Just because you got cooked and made to look easy. Don't try to change it now. Don't try to fix it now. Who got more champions in their resume? These guys became champions in the future. Don't try to fix it now. After you done got cooked, microwaved, ovened, fish filleted. Don't try to fix it now. My peoples. My peoples. We're about to end this episode of Boxing for Breakfast. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. You guys know what it is. All for the love of the sweet science. Tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We're going to go at it. We're going to be talking boxing. We got a lot going on. A lot of expectations. We want to see what's really going to happen next for Tank Davis. Is he going to fight Pitbull Cruz? What's going to happen in this saga between Ryan Garcia, Shakur Stevenson? Are they going to come to an agreement, or are they going to go their separate ways? We want to see what's going to happen if they don't fight each other. Who is Shakur Stevenson going to fight next? Ryan Garcia says that he's going to come back in July, so he's going to fight. Who's next for him? So there's a lot of fight coming up, and we want to see how those are going to play out. Who's going to fight who? Shaggy, salute, my brother. Max 7 Life, nice rocking with you, Jay. Salute, family. Positive Track. I want to give a shout out to everybody who tuned in this morning. Y'all know how we do it. Positive Track in the building. Max 7 Life, Shaggy, the letter M, JJ Zendejas. Who else tuned in? Al was in the building. Ramirez hating on Shakur like always. And everybody else who tuned in, my peoples, y'all already know what it is, man. I appreciate every single one of you. This is Boxing for Breakfast. I'm Jay Smith. I'm getting the hell out of here. I'm going to see y'all tomorrow, man. Peace. Bam. Bam. We out of here.